Hi folks, I'm at the university campus of Pontianak in West Kalimantan, sitting pretty much on the equator. And this is a tree of great historical significance, not for Indonesia or for Asia, but for the Americas. You know, when I was a kid, I wondered why the Native Americans, back then we called them Indians, were also called redskins. Well, in the children's book, they usually had a bright red skin. They were painted bright red. And we had the black and white TV, so my parents could explain to me, yes, they are actually red. Later, when I saw my first Western movies on a color TV, I said, they are not red, they are brown. Well, they were brown just like all people living in a sunny climate and having an outdoor lifestyle. And decades later, I learned why there were redskins, why they were called redskins, and why they were actually redskins. They were using the fruit of this little tree, the lipstick tree. Here I opened one of the capsules. There are seeds inside, and those seeds are surrounded by a red material. And when you smear them on your skin, usually you mix them with some oil and other things, your skin becomes bright red. You can also smear them on your lips if you cannot afford lipstick, and your lips become bright red. You can also eat them. They are not poisonous. At least I guess they're not poisonous in small amounts. I don't know what happens if you eat like 10 grams of them, but they are being used as food colorant. So, yeah, a lot of tribes and nations in Central and South America use them. A few of the ones living in more remote areas still do. I saw them being used on the island of Guadeloupe in the Caribbean. Well, the Native Americans of Guadeloupe, they have been slaughtered and deported by the Europeans centuries ago. So how did I see use of those fruit? You see, the Europeans, they imported African slaves to work on their plantations. Those slaves had a very bad life, lots of oppression, lots of, horrible crimes against them committed. And there was only one day in the year where they could have like a tiny revenge on their masters. On Carnival, 7 weeks before Easter, they would paint themselves, usually with pitch and molasses. They would paint themselves pitch black, like black people painting themselves black, walking through the streets of town, rubbing themselves against all the white people they could find, against their white skin, against their white clothes, and saying, see, you are black like me, you are not better than me, why are you the master, why am I the slave? Such freedom was allowed only on Carnival. What does this have to do with the lipstick fruit when they painted themselves with pitch and molasses? Well, a couple of those slaves remembered the deported Native Americans of the island, so they painted themselves red with this fruit, walked through the streets and told the whites, see, I'm a native of this island, I belong here, you don't belong here, why are you on my island? So even nowadays, centuries after the natives of Guadeloupe have been deported, and more than 150 years after the abolition of slavery, this tradition lives on. So one day before the big carnival procession in Guadeloupe, you can actually see those usually young men and women painted black, young men and women painted black, or sometimes red, walking through the streets and looking for someone with white skin or nice clean clothes to rub themselves against. Yeah, so still a plant of quite cultural significance, some commercial importance because it's used as food coloring. If you forget your lipstick, you can still use it as lipstick. And here in Indonesia and also in a lot of other tropical countries, it's used as an ornamental because nice little tree, nice pink flowers, beautiful red fruit. So it will not be too hard to spot this if you visit the tropics. Well, folks, this was the lipstick tree. Oh, let me tell you about the taste. The taste is nothing special, which is good for a food colorant. It's not supposed to be very tasty. It's supposed to color food. The taste will come from other ingredients. Well, it tastes a little bit like a bell pepper. There's some lemony taste to it. In general, not a very strong taste. Pretty faint taste. But its job is not to taste. Its job is to color food or skin or lips or whatever. So folks, this was the lipstick tree. Stay tuned for more fruit videos from the campus of Pontianak, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.